Today, we'll be trying to model a laundry basket in Blender, and we can easily do that by using the Celtic Link. The Celtic Link is an option that's available in Blender Extra Curve Objects Add-on. The Extra Curve Objects Add-on can be activated by going to Preferences to activate it as shown. You can simply search for it as shown and activate it. If you don't have it already activated, but let's say you don't have it, you can simply go and download the add-on within Blender, install and activate it right away. We can now return to our 3D viewport to start working on the project. In order to use extra curve objects, we need to go to curve, and because extra curve add-on is turned on, we have available these other options. Now we can begin our project by adding a cube mesh, and if you have your default cube, you can simply use it. I had to add a cube mesh since I had deleted the default cube. However, we don't need a top face and can delete that in edit mode. Now what's next is to scale up the top of the cube, and we can select all the top edges as shown. We can now scale with restriction to X and Y axis. Increase the height of the object by moving selected edges along the Z axis. We can move it up by 2000. Now I think we have the geometry of a basket right here, and this is what we need. The next thing for us is to add a subsurface division modifier to the mesh. We can reduce the render and give the subsurf modifier 3 levels as shown. Then in our object mode, we can apply the modifier. We can tap back to our edit mode to work on the mesh. We need a base for the basket, as the shape of the base of this mesh can't work and needs to be changed. Hence, I can simply take these edges, duplicate, and move it down. Let's move it 2500 down. This is going to be the reference for the base of our basket, and we can go on to scale it down to fit the circumference. Now we can toggle number 3, and in wireframe viewport, select every edge or face below the edge that we duplicated and delete them. We can now select the circle and move it to the base of the mesh as shown. And by the way, this project can also be done using a cylindrical mesh instead of a cube mesh, and I think you should try it. However, you may run into some challenges unpeculiar to using a cube mesh, but it's part of the learning curve, I guess. Now let's give this 900. We can extrude this by 300 for now. We may still need to move it up a bit later on. Now I want a circle to be somewhere in between both meshes. Hence, I need to duplicate these edges and move them up by, let's say, another 300. And then we can extrude this down by 300 as shown.